Introducing Takemichi Hanagaki, a key figure within the ruthless Toman gang known for their brutal reputation. Now at 26, he holds a high-ranking position among the gang's executives, but on a crisp early fall morning, the tables turned as he found himself ensnared in a meticulously planned police operation, led by the relentless officer, Naoto Tachibana. Captured and brought in for interrogation, Takemichi Hanagaki faces a grave accusation: being an accomplice to murder. Shocking surveillance footage links him to a series of heinous crimes. Yet his narrative is marred by inconsistencies, leaving many questioning its plausibility. In this gripping episode of Ultra Investigator, we delve deep into the enigmatic psyche of Takemichi Hanagaki, unraveling the complex motivations that led him to this pivotal juncture in his life. With actors recreating his story, my plucky assistant will review his claims and cross-check his narrative to see if it holds.
Well, I don't know what's going on, but let's get back to the video. In this season of Tokyo Revengers, many of the plot points fall short and don't make sense. This can be seen in the setup of the gang Black Dragon. Led by Taiju, this generation of Black Dragon looks like one of the strongest. In episode 3, Chifuyu explains to the group how formidable Black Dragon is. Black Dragon has ruled the region for years, and the 10th generation is full of psycho warriors. The 9th generation is the group that Toman previously defeated, but this generation is different. They have been rebuilt and trained like a military force. This scene sets the stage for what the viewer should expect from Black Dragon. We're told that a conflict with Black Dragon won't be easy, and could spell similar danger to previous gang battles, if not more. The idea of Black Dragon being a serious gang is further played up when the Toman leaders meet to discuss Taiju's attack on Takemichi. Mitsuya corroborates Chifuyu's claim of Black Dragon being new and more dangerous. With this info, the audience is promised and led to believe that Black Dragon is a formidable opponent and will pose a threat to Toman. All of this info raises the stakes and lets us know to take Black Dragon seriously. Well, just forget about all that information, as Draken single-handedly beats almost all of the Black Dragon just by himself. This anticlimactic decision is not necessarily bad, as it could make sense for Draken to be strong enough to beat all of the Black Dragon. Look at One Punch Man and how they handled the Sea King. The Sea King is seen defeating numerous pro heroes, and when Saitama finally fights the Sea King, it all ends with one punch. This is also an anticlimactic scene, but what makes it work is that we knew Saitama could beat the Sea King with one punch, even though he bested all of the other pro heroes. In the case of Tokyo Revengers, Draken never could fight 100 men and go off with minor damage. Look at episode 19 of season 1. We see Draken fighting Valhalla members. Draken claims there's too many Valhalla members. In case you forgot, there were 300 Valhalla members and 150 Toman members. Considering Draken fought 100 Black Dragons who carried weapons, these odds should not pose a problem. There are no stakes that matter in Tokyo Revengers. In episode 6, Takemichi tries to stop Hakai from killing Taiju. When Taiju chokes Takemichi, he explains that Hakai has a secret. Taiju says that this secret is enough to make his friends look at him differently. Before Taiju can reveal Hakai's secret, he is stabbed by Yuzuha. This leaves the audience in suspense and makes us wonder. We wonder what he's hiding, and how will that change his relationship with everyone? In episode 8, his secret is revealed to the audience. Yuzuha has been the one protecting Hakai. This reveal is not as scary or surprising as it was played up to be. It doesn't change the direction of the story. It doesn't make the audience think Hakai is truly a bad person. He and his sister are victims, and Hakai wanted to look better in front of his friends by saying he's protecting his sister. Almost everyone comes to Hakai's aid by explaining they are worse than Hakai. Hakai even stands up to his brother in the same episode, which makes the reveal even more forgettable. The stakes that were presented were never stakes. They were scarecrows to fool the audience, in the same way Tokyo Revengers built up Black Dragon. Exhibit B, the antagonist. An antagonist plays an important role in a story. They introduce conflict and push the protagonist. In this season of Tokyo Revengers, Taiju Shiba plays the antagonist role. He's the leader of the Black Dragon and responsible for Hakai and Yuzuha's abuse. Taiju as a character falls flat. He has several elements that are built, but none of the elements are properly executed. We can see this with Taiju's ironic devotion to religion while being portrayed as a bad person. This can be an interesting part of Taiju's character, but the only thing shown is Taiju praying. We don't see how he justifies his actions in his head, and how this mixes with his religious beliefs. Normally I wouldn't mention these details, but the fact that they're fighting at a church before a religious holiday raises these questions, as Taiju has no problem throwing a few chairs and messing up a sacred place. I understand that Taiju is being attacked, but he can easily tell everyone to fight outside the church, given all the instances they have to stop in the fight. Another issue with Taiju's character is the dialogue at the end of the church battle. We see Taiju finally defeated. Hakai gives his final words to his brother, and Yuzuha gives some interesting information. She explains that after her mother died, Taiju just moped around and chose to be alone. He never even mentioned anything about her. Despite wanting her brother dead, Yuzuha still loves him. Tokyo Revengers doesn't give the audience enough context to understand why Yuzuha still loves her brother, even after everything. This can be done. Look at Sasuke and Itachi from Naruto, Killua and Illumi Zoldyck from Hunter x Hunter, or Shoto and Endeavor from My Hero. These examples show complicated relationships where one side does terrible things, but enough context is given so that we, the audience, can understand why they love each other. Strange enough, we were told that Taiju was an expert at getting people to like him, so the idea of him being alone is strange. Tokyo Revengers skips the needed context to these complicated relationships. Exhibit C. Lack of sense. There seems to be a lack of sense in this season of Tokyo Revengers. In episode 5, Takemichi meets Hinata's dad. Hinata's dad is not in his family's life as much as he feels he should. Almost everything is told to him by his wife. Since Hinata's dad only wants the best for her, he asks Takemichi to break up with Hinata since he knows Takemichi belongs to a gang. Takemichi follows Hinata's dad's request and breaks up with Hinata. Takemichi lies to Hinata and tells her that he's been thinking about breaking up. He says there's someone else and that he doesn't like her anymore. Hinata attacks Takemichi and leaves the scene. Now, for why this entire scene is ridiculous, first, Takemichi knew that he was going to break up with her. This is something that Takemichi already did, and it still led to Hinata dying. Better yet, Hinata wasn't in a relationship with him in other timelines, nor was he a gang member, but she died because of the gang. Regardless of whether he was in the gang, he broke up with her in the timelines. The fact that he broke up with her does nothing to protect her. Takemichi knows all this information, so his actions make no sense. Let's give Takemichi the benefit of the doubt and say he believes this outcome will change the future, given his efforts to stop Akai. This could lead to a domino effect where Hinata lives. Let's assume this is true. Well, if we assume this, there's still no reason for Takemichi to lie to Hinata. Hinata's father told Takemichi to lie to Hinata. He told him to break up with her. Why would Takemichi suddenly lie to her then? In fact, why would he tell 3 lies? He could have just said my lifestyle's too dangerous and broken up with her. Yet he chooses to lie when he doesn't need to. And things make even less sense as we go on. In episode 10, Hinata confronts her dad about the breakup. The problem with this scene is that Hinata should not know that Takemichi talked to her dad. No one ever told her it was her father's fault. You can make the argument that Hinata's mom was the one that told her, but nothing tells us or suggests that. This is important since Hinata beat Takemichi when he broke up with her. If she could determine that her father did this, she would have no reason to attack Takemichi. Everything about this plotline is a mess. Exhibit D. Terrible MC? Tokyo Revengers has several issues, including its protagonist, Takemichi. Many fans have an issue with Takemichi, since he's weak, but I don't think this is true. Takemichi is physically weak and can't fight, but he can motivate others. Takemichi is the strongest when he refuses to give up, which is his strength when fighting Taiju. Takemichi's power comes from his sheer will. However, this willpower and perseverance mentality fades when the story calls for it. Just look at how Takemichi easily breaks up and accepts that his actions will lead to Hinata's death. He knows this is not true, but gives up. This is the problem, not that he loses fights. Tokyo Revengers has a bad habit of using Takemichi's internal monologue as exposition. Exposition is needed in any story, but how it's done matters. Generally, a writer will want their exposition to feel needed. Tokyo Revengers does the opposite, by making Takemichi explain every little thing in a scene as if we didn't see it just happen. The worst instance of this is when Yuzuha stabs Taiju, and Takemichi makes some strange conclusions. Takemichi somehow comes to the conclusion that Yuzuha killed Taiju in the original timeline, since he felt like nothing he did mattered, and Akai could not kill his brother. This doesn't make sense, since Akai only told Takemichi and Shifuyu, and Takemichi told Kisaki. There's no way for Kisaki to get involved if Takemichi never told him. There's no way for Yuzuha to stab Taiju since Kisaki wouldn't know. None of this makes sense. Takemichi is too dense to be used for exposition. Unless Kisaki's also a time traveler and knew everything. That would be an interesting idea. All in all, Tokyo Revengers fails in telling its story. Just when you...
With all the evidence laid bare before you, the moment of judgment has arrived. Is Takemichi truly the innocent soul he claims to be, or does he conceal the heart of a remorseless killer? Mark your calendars for the next episode of Ultra Investigator. The truth you seek will be unveiled.